Let's see what EzQMS can do for you to organize, retrieve, and control your documents. Let's take a look at the SOP button. If you notice, we have a document ID, a document name, and a controlling department. Now, if I click on any of these buttons, they'll resort themselves. Now, if you notice, we also have in the center there a pull-down menu. Now, right now it's on all. So what we're doing is we're looking at all the SOPs that are entered into EzQMS. Now, if I'm interested in seeing just purchasing, for example, then now I'm looking at just the purchasing documents. If I'm interested in just the human resources, now I'm just looking at human resources. Now, one thing to mention, this menu works the same if you're on the quality manual, the work instructions, forms, internal and external audits, the standards, and management review. Now, let's take a look how easy it is to add a document to the system. Now we're going to click on the Administrator tool, and now we have the ability to add new documents, modify or delete, modify email, add new users, or modify or delete users. So let's go ahead and continue with add a new document. Now the naming structure that EzQMS uses is SOP in front of it and then some type of numbering scheme. In this case, we're just going to use the word demo. And the name is going to be demo. So let's go pull a document. And I'm just going to pick one of these. And now the next question is, who owns this particular document? In this case, I'm going to say it's quality. Applies to quality and the controlling. Now, the applies to is kind of interesting because let's say that was really the quality policy that we were adding. If I put a check mark next to every single one of these applies to, it'll actually show up in their pull down, and the quality policy should be in all departments. But in this case, I'm just interested just for the quality department. Now the category is nothing more than what I call the bucket. I'm working on an SOP. I want it to show up in our SOP button. So I'm just going to click the radio button and it'll fall under the bucket SOP. The document settings are for these three buttons over here on the right hand side: Nonconforming Report, Engineering Change Notice, and Corrective Action, Preventive Action. This tells the system what form, again, to remind you, we're using your form. So this is going to tell it what form to bring up for one of those three buttons. And then we have the ability to enable email user notification upon approval. So if we check that and add email addresses, let's say it goes out to supervisors, then they'll get notified when there's a change to this particular document. Alright, so I'm satisfied. Let's go ahead and add it to the system. So it was successfully added to the database. Let's close out of this and let's go back to the standard operating procedures and see if the demo has been added. There it is, SOP demo. So if I bring that document up, that's the document we just added. So that's how easy it is to add documents to the system. Now, let's go ahead and add an engineering change notice to the system. Now, the way engineering change notices work is that when we create a new ECN, it's going to be in this bucket here. it's in process of being created. So it's basically going out and make a copy of what's currently being used in the system. It's going to let you modify that. And once you're happy with it, you'll come down and you'll submit it for an approval. So based on your procedures, then whoever's authorized to make the final approval will click the Approve ECN. It will then take the old one, obsolete it, and move the new one in its place. So let's go ahead and create a new ECN. And I'm going to, let's modify, I don't know, how about quality planning? Now, this can be one-to-many. So one ECN can do 5 changes or whatever. That's up to you. In this case, for this demo, we're just going to do the quality planning. Now at this time, it's going to bring up the 2 forms. The form that I can make changes to, and then my engineering change form. Now, since we're using your form, the ECN number has been created by EzQMS. If you notice up here in the top center, ECN number 0509-2011, number 1. That means it's May 9th, 2011, and it was the first one that was created for May 9th. If we create another one today, it would go in sequential order. It would become 2, and on goes the story. So let's just say that we're happy with these. So I'm going to file, save it, and we got to go back out, and we made changes to this document. File, save. Let's go ahead and close it. Now, what we can do is put in SOP, I forget what the number was for this demo, but we'll say 5401, and we're going to change document. And then we'll say OK. So the ECN was successfully saved. And now we're going to go ahead and send it out for email notification. I'm going to send this to quality. And now an email notification has gone out in the system. Now let's go out and take a look to see if we got an email notification for this ECN that we just created. Okay, there's my inbox, EzQMS demo. It says a new ECN was entered into the EzQMS system on 5/9 at this time. And then it tells me what the ECN number was. And this affects the following departments. In this case, the quality department. Alright, so that kind of shows you how email notification works. Okay, now let's take a look at, we'll do one more email notification. Let's take a look at corrective and preventative action. So if I want to create a new CAPA, I'm going to say that there was an issue with Ford, and we'll call it missing parts. That was on maybe part number 465789. It now is going to bring up my corrective and preventative action form. And again, if you notice up here, the system created a CAPA, in this case 0509-2011. And again, this is where you would type in your information. And again, it's showing it was the first one that was created for the day. And then go ahead and fill out your corrective action accordingly. So let's go ahead and file save that. We'll close out of it. It says a new CAPA, save for document for later. And I'm going to send this out just for the quality department. Alright. Now, because I'm logged in as an administrator, you can see I have the remove CAPA here. If that's not valid, we can literally go into the system and remove it. If I literally go out of being an administrator and I go back into the corrective action, now you can see a normal user wouldn't be able to make changes to that other than go ahead and bring up the document. All right. So with that said, let's take a look at a couple of the buttons. Standards, for example. I'm sorry. At least I thought I had some items in here. I guess I don't. All right. And then internal and external audits. This is where you're going to go ahead and put a placeholder for your actual audit reports, etc. Now, the last thing that we have is gauge control. We could go ahead and take a look at one of these items here. So let's just do a modify. But it kind of lets you get into the device details, the name, the description, the manufacturer, and then you can go ahead and upload the gauge certification so that you can go ahead and view it. In this case, I just used the logo. But and again, you can also tell it if it's an active gauge or not. The frequency, if it's monthly, quarterly, whatever. Who it was created by email for email notification, and then any memo type stuff that goes with it. Okay. So anyways, that finishes the demo, and we appreciate the opportunity to show you what EzQMS can do for you, and look forward to hear from you, and also take a look at our solution 2, which is a instant web interface versus the client software that you're looking in solution number 1.